How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to another Skywars video. Today's a little bit different because I'm recording the audio second and the gameplay's in the back. So I tried to talk about this with the gameplay and I just kept dying and it was just not working. But today we're going to talk about something that I'm oh so familiar with, which would be anxiety and, kind of what I did to overcome it. Because I thought, it's something interesting to talk about and everyone has dealt with it in, some way or form. And, there's so many outlets of people talking about their experiences with it. But I don't think, there's a lot on what people did to fix it or rectify the problem, because I know people that are in the same situation as me at the time just want answers. They want an easy cut way to fix it. How do I fix it now? Obviously I don't believe that there's a way that you can just fix it out of the blue just right now, but you can't start working towards it, because if you don't, it's never gonna get fixed. So I'm gonna be going over a little bit of backstory and then the big turning point for me and how it fixed it and how my life has changed from it, because I do think that my life has become a lot better, from like a mental standing, and I have like a completely different outlook on how how all this stuff works, and I have a whole new approach to it that I'm gonna share in this video. And I know that I'm not really in the position to talk about this kind of crap because I'm young, but I don't really see this video hurting anybody. Also, I haven't recorded the gameplay yet, so if it's totally terrible, don't diss me in the comments. I tried my best, but just letting you know, it would have been way worse if I would have done this and that at the exact same time. So kicking this off, I would always say I've been, an overthinker, someone who has, struggled with it a lot. Mostly when I was younger, a lot of performance anxiety. I played a lot of basketball, baseball, soccer, or football if you come from England, or anywhere except for America. And before I would play these games, I would get so nauseous. I would lose sleep the night before. There's a couple times I threw up in my dad's truck on the way to the games and I got absolutely yelled at, which I kind of deserved for throwing up in his truck. Or I would get to the game and I would just say, I can't do it today. I can't do this. And it was so weird because, as soon as that buzzer sounded and I got into the game, it was all gone. It was all completely gone. But this pregame anxiety was got so bad that to a point a few years ago, I actually had to go to therapy for it, which did not last long because I did not resonate with the big fat man that was my therapist. That is a story for another day. But apart from sports and all performance-based stuff, I was fine. Socially fine. I could stand in front of people, talk. I would say I was pretty extroverted. Everything was really easy for me, all the way up until I would say around COVID was probably that turning point. I didn't really see it while COVID was going on. I loved COVID. Obviously I didn't like people dying and crap, but I liked being stuck at home, didn't have to see anybody, and I could just sit in my dark room and play Minecraft. It was great up until the point of, I think it was August 2020 when we had to go back to school. Because you don't see it at the time when you're sitting in your bedroom. You don't have to talk to anybody except for your family. But I go back to school, everyone had changed completely. It's like I didn't even know these people. Everyone looked completely different, sounded completely different. Because I was going in from 7th grade to 8th grade, which means everyone's in puberty. Everyone's changing. Everyone changed but me, to be honest. Everyone was like complete opposites in themselves except for me, which was really, really weird. It felt like you didn't really know these people anymore. So my 8th grade year went by. It wasn't that bad up until we go to the next year, which would be 9th grade and the start of high school, which is so fun. For those of you that don't live in the US, that is the last 4 years of your schooling before you're kicked out and to go to the real world. You gotta get all your credits and listen to rap music while you still can before you're a working adult. But the reason I'm bringing up high school is because I had to take a public speaking class, which in the past I hadn't, had any problems with. I could go up there, give a presentation like it was nothing. Easy cake, easy A. I was going crazy on them presentations. But leading up to my first big speech I had to give, I found myself, losing sleep, stressing with this non-stop, going through my script over and over in my head, and no matter how many times I did it, it just wasn't enough. So the day the presentation comes, I am shaking more than Michael Jackson on coke. Don't even eat lunch. The next hour, the class comes by, I get up there, and I do amazing. As soon as I start talking, it all just goes away. I do amazing on it. Got an A. Everyone loved it. I was fine, and I thought, that's the end of it. It's just the one-time jitters. Everybody gets it. It's normal. Or fine. Until the next presentation, we had to give a TED Talk, which was slides and a speech without a paper. And when that day came forward, I completely bombed it. I'd forgot everything I rehearsed, everything on the slides. I was shaking, sweating, could barely even get over my own words, and I found a whole new problem approaching. About a week later, picture day is here. Nothing scary about picture day, right? You're wrong. There is something scary about picture day. I just didn't know it at the time. So I sit down to take my picture. She starts, giving me instructions, and I start smiling, and my face starts twitching profusely, like nothing like I'd ever experienced before. She takes the picture, and I get up and I think, okay, that was weird. I don't really know what that was all about, and I kind of forget about it, not really thinking about it at all. I think it was just kind of like a fluke until a few months later, where we had sports pictures, and I get up there to take my sports pictures, do a little solo picture, a little solo portrait to show how pretty I am, and she starts telling me all these things to do. I start in whatever pose she wants, and right as she's about to take the picture, I start twitching and shaking and sweating really, really bad, and then I just remember being about to like black out, like literally pass. This is the first time I've ever almost passed out in my entire life. So I look at her and I'm about to die, and I'm like, can we stop for a second? Can I sit down for a second? She says, oh sure. She was nice about it, thank God. And I went to the side, and all I could do was lay on the floor, and the room was just spinning. I don't know if I was stressed, if I didn't eat that day, what was going off. Something was wrong, but my brain took that as anxiety, and that really stuck with me for the second half of this story, which is even better. So now I have these two experiences ingrained in my head saying, okay, talking in front of people, that's scary. Taking pictures in front of people, that's scary. You can't do these things. It was all just, negative in your head. Your brain's telling you can't do it, you can't do it. There's no way to get around it. Just give up and die. And it got to a point that was so bad that if I was laughing with somebody, I would catch myself, and my brain would just, kind of tell myself, you shouldn't be doing this right now. And I would physically not be able to smile. I don't know how to explain it. It's a weird feeling, but you quite literally cannot make yourself smile. You literally cannot even fake it. My face would just start twitching profusely. I looked like a cartoon character, I swear. It was the weirdest thing ever. And I would go on to have this problem and, try to fake it the best that I could for probably around, 2.5 years, which I'm not going to lie, completely sucked. It was terrible. I would, have a good time, and then I would start realizing, oh my God, I'm having fun, and it would completely kill my vibe, kill the mood. And what made it even worse is that picture from the day that I almost fainted, that I would kind of call the day that started it all, is hanging up in multiple spots in my house for me to always see and always remind me of that day. Kind of just feeling like a taunt that I could just never get away from. At one point, I even, took all the pictures down and threw them away in the burn barrel. No more pictures. But apparently they had extras in the closet. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for that. So at this point in my life, it has gotten so bad, I can't even smile when I want to. My body literally just will not let me without my face twitching terribly. And it's really embarrassing when it would happen. I feel like for the most part, people wouldn't notice. It's kind of just a you thing. So I'd have to go to like social gatherings, and I would catch myself smiling. My body would instantly flip it over and say, nuh-uh, fuck you, and I would start twitching. So now kind of begs the question, what'd you do to fix it? Did it just go away by itself, or did you start taking copious amounts of drugs? And why I did start doing hard drugs, it wasn't because of the anxiety, it's because the sweats on Skywars, I just couldn't do it anymore. I had to turn to an outlet. But no, the solution that I'd been, praying for the past 2 years of my life came to me in a lot simpler of a way than I thought it would. It came in the form of a 2-hour and 16-minute audiobook that I found myself listening to over and over and over and over again. I've read it, I think 6 times. Well, I haven't read it, I've read the audiobook like 6 times. I just put it on in my car every single morning on the way to school. And, sometimes when those feelings start to creep back into my life, when it's late at night, I'll put the headphones on and I'll start listening to it more. And this miracle book I've talked so highly about is called Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen. I'll leave the audiobook down in the description for anyone that wants to go check it out. Highly recommend it. But finally, on to the meat and potatoes. What's the book about? What is the secret to happiness? Okay, so before I say what he said in his novel, I just want it to be clear, none of these are my own ideas. This is all his stuff. I'm not taking credit for any of it. I'm just interpreting it to what I think he meant by it. But I am going to use a question that he referred to a lot in the book that really put it into perspective for me. So think of a time that you were really stressed out in your life. Something had gone wrong. Maybe someone died, or there was an accident. Something happened. What were you thinking in those moments? Just take a second, pause the video or whatever you want to do. But what were you thinking in that moment? Okay, got it? It's all in your head. You got it in the old melon right now. Okay, so now we have that established. Think about a time you were happy. Think about a time you were the happiest you've ever been. Nothing wrong in the world. Everything was going right. Maybe you got a dog. Maybe it was your first kiss. Maybe you found out Ariana Grande has nudes floating around online. But try to think about what you were thinking in that moment. What was going through your head? Pause the video and take a second. Now, I bet most of you probably couldn't come up for anything when you were thinking about a happy memory. And it's not you. You don't have a bad memory. That's exactly what was supposed to happen. Because in this book, Joseph Joseph Nguyen's theory, the amount of thoughts going through your head correlates to how happy or sad or stressed you're feeling. And originally when I heard that part being said, I was not a believer in it. That's just way too simple to be the root of it all. There's just no way. So I set the book down for a while. I left it for probably a week. With this thought just kept reoccurring to me, and I kept thinking about it more and more and seeing it in my own life, how true it was. It didn't feel right that something so simple would be the cause of something so terrible and so huge. So the next question I had was, okay, how do I fix this? If I know that thoughts and thinking is the root to all my stress and anxiety, how do you just stop thinking? That's just, you can't do that. To which, it's really creepy. Every single time I had a question, he answered it in the next chapter. It was like he was reading my mind. It was the creepiest thing ever. I've never experienced anything like it. I'd be like constantly checking my car for little microphones. Because I was like, this guy's somewhere near me. He's watching me. He's in the walls. They're in the trees. But in the book, he states that thinking and thoughts are two complete different things. Thoughts are just things that, pop into your head. You can't help it. Thinking is something you can help. Thinking is something that you command your body to do. If something random pops in your head, it's a thought. But as soon as you start thinking about that thought and acknowledging that thought, then it becomes thinking. It's kind of weird and confusing, but I think he explained it a lot better than me in the book. So if we know the root to all our problems is thinking, well then how do we stop thinking? Because as I stated before, you can't just stop thinking. You kind of have to train yourself into doing it. He gives a few different tips in the book about, how what he does for it. What I do is if I catch myself thinking too much, then I will stare at one object or focus on one sound, and I'll count up to 10 and then back down to 1. And after I do that a couple times, my focus is just gone and you are back completely in the moment, which therefore less thinking means anxiety levels are down. Now beware, this isn't something that you can just do. I mean, I've been trying this for months and months now, and I'm still not great at it. But I mean, with time, it gets easier, and you see yourself thinking less. But also, this doesn't just mean stop thinking in general. Obviously, you have to think about things. You can't just walk around like a lifeless husk your whole life and be a stupid, dumb idiot and not think about anything. Obviously, you're gonna have to think about stuff. It's just saying that, there's times for thinking, and then there's times for being in the moment. And I think there's something really beautiful about something feeling so big that feels like your world is completely changing and you're just not capable to deal with what's happening around you, and you expect the solution to be something even bigger than your problem, something to crush what you're going through, and it's just the simplest solution ever. There's nothing hard about it. It really makes you think, what other problems in my life that feels so big have such a simple solution, something that's so simple you would just never think about until it was presented right in front of you and you still didn't want to believe it. Which brings me to the end of the story. Where are we at today? Well, I mean, for starters, I can say I'm definitely getting better. I'm getting my smile back. It's crazy. It's really weird how much, perspective and the way you look at things has a toll on your life. And something else, a little bit ago we had prom, and I was terrified to go because I didn't want to take pictures because the whole crap from earlier. I did it. I was fine. No anxiety, no nothing. I was completely chilling. I was counting up and down. I was going crazy. In the end of the night, I won prom prints. It was crazy. Now, I wasn't too stoked about winning it, to be honest. So I had to get in front of everybody and take pictures, but I was literally completely fine. It was crazy. I don't know what changed. It feels like I finally beat it after so long. It's really weird, and it just feels so refreshing. But it's not like this is gonna solve all of my problems, and the anxiety is still gonna be there. It's never gonna fully go away, no matter what you do. It's just kind of nature. It's kind of how we're made. Your brain's programmed to help you survive, and it will do whatever means necessary to do it, whether that is good or bad for you. It just wants to help you. It just doesn't know the best ways possible for you. But hey, he's trying his best. I can't hate on him. He's really trying to help me out. I sometimes I just need him to take a little bit of a break, but he's doing his best. Gotta applaud him. But I want to leave it right there on a good note, and I want to give a personal thanks to Joseph Nguyen, the man, the myth, the legend. You gave me new hope. And I'm not talking Star Wars. But I highly recommend you check out the book. I'll put it in the description so you can get it easy access to it, just like the hole in my underwear. And if you're struggling with problems like these, get help. Don't wait. I swear it'll be worth your time. Find someone to talk to. It'll make it so much easier. But with that, I want to thank you guys all for watching. This is a story I was hoping I could tell someday, and I'm so glad I'm finally confident enough to do so, that I can look back on it and say, I did that. I beat it. Kind of. The problems are still there, but we're fixing it. We're fixing it slowly. It's bigger than black and white. We can't change it overnight. And with that being said, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, join the Discord. That's right. I'm still plugging it all. I don't care. But I think I've talked for long enough. Yeah, for the third time, thank you guys all for watching. And yeah, I have nothing else to say, so peace.